My son texted me the night before his wedding. "Dad, don't come tomorrow. Monica says your blue-collar vibe will embarrass her family." I didn't reply. I didn't call. I just opened my laptop. I'm Bernie Kowalski, 66, a retired contractor from the Chicago suburbs. My wife Catherine died 5 years ago. I'd spent 40 years pouring concrete so my son Jason could have soft hands instead of rough ones. I just wired $85,000 for his wedding at the Grand Plaza, Monica's dream venue. I was polishing my shoes for the big day when that text came through. What Jason didn't know: I wasn't the broke old man on a pension he thought I was. I owned a construction supply company, apartment buildings, a warehouse district. He thought his credit card had a $5,000 limit. I'd been quietly covering everything. He thought the $85,000 was my life savings. I opened my bank account to see what my money had bought them that week. $4,000 at a spa, $12,000 flying Monica's parents first class, $3,000 on a rehearsal dinner I wasn't invited to. Then I looked at the pending $85,000 transfer. Since it hadn't cleared yet, I disputed it as unauthorized. I deactivated Jason's credit card and reported it stolen. Then I emailed my lawyer Sullivan to evict them from the house on Oak Street, a house they thought they rented, not knowing I owned it. I hung the suit back in the closet. I wasn't going anywhere tomorrow. Next morning, I was mowing my lawn when Jason's BMW, the one I'd bought him, screeched into my driveway. Monica, in a velour tracksuit, screamed that her card had been declined at the salon, humiliating her. Jason begged me to fix it. I told them the card wasn't declined by mistake. I'd reported it stolen. Monica sneered that I was the help, that I embarrassed her sophisticated family. I walked to the BMW, unlocked it with my spare key, and drove it into my garage, leaving them stranded. They came back, pounding on my door, panicking. No car, no money. An hour before the ceremony. Monica screamed threats. I stayed calm. I called Tony, the limo company owner, and canceled the pickup for Monica's wealthy parents, who were about to land at O'Hare expecting a driver. Monica was horrified. Then I told them the locks on Oak Street were being changed that very moment. I terminated their lease. Jason looked at me like I was a stranger. I drove to Oak Street. They'd beaten me there, banging on a door that no longer opened for them. Jason charged at me in fury. I grabbed pruning shears from my truck bed, not to attack, just to hold my ground, and he backed off. I gave them 24 hours to collect personal items only. The furniture and TV were mine. Then I let myself into the house. It was trashed, but worse, the walls were bare. Catherine's paintings, gone. Her pearls, her locket, her wedding jewelry, gone. Under a broken drawer I found a pawn shop receipt. 3 paintings, a necklace, a watch. Total payout, $1,200. They'd sold my dead wife's memory to pay for wedding flowers. I called Sullivan and told him to draft criminal charges, grand larceny, and to call the police to meet me at the Grand Plaza. This wasn't a father-son dispute anymore. It was a crime. At the venue, a security guard tried to block me, calling me a disruptive old man. Then the manager, Henderson, recognized me. I owned the company that owned the Grand Plaza. He bowed and let me straight through. Inside, Monica was on stage, telling guests I was mentally unstable and too unwell to attend. I walked down the aisle, took the microphone from her hands, and told the room the truth. I was Jason's father, banned for being blue-collar, yet apparently good enough to pay for everything in the room: the champagne, the food, the flowers. I held up the wire transfer confirmation, then the pawn slip. I told them my late wife's paintings and jewelry, including her engagement ring, had been sold to fund Monica's dress. The room went silent. I called out Monica's parents too, exposing their own hidden bankruptcy. Then I dropped the mic. Police officers walked in on cue and arrested Jason and Monica for burglary, larceny, and trafficking stolen property. Jason begged me to stop it. I didn't. Later, at the precinct, Jason sobbed and blamed Monica entirely, begging me to bail him out. I refused. I told him I loved him too much to keep protecting him from consequences I'd spent his whole life shielding him from. I walked out and left him there. Over the following month, I bought back Catherine's paintings and jewelry from the pawn shop, sold the Oak Street house to a hard-working young couple, and put every dollar into a scholarship fund in Catherine's name for kids learning trade skills. Then I boarded a flight to Italy, the Amalfi Coast Catherine always wanted to see but we never had time for. Sitting in first class with a glass of champagne, phone switched off, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. I didn't raise a man. I raised a boy who never learned that actions have consequences, because I never let them catch up to him. Real wealth isn't your bank balance. It's dignity. And sometimes you have to lose everything else to keep it. Would you have bailed your son out? Or walked away like I did?